and hello, Cosmic Family, to another episode of Lunacy and
Logic.
with your host, Dr. Charlier. I'm an elemental healer bringing ancient medicine back to modern age.
And I'm Lilith, your Kundalini alchemist, guiding you through sacred transformations of consciousness.
Yeah. So make sure your mic's here before you start talking. We kind of miss sometimes the beginning of it. Cool.
My bad, y'all. My bad.
So let us get into the codes of destiny because we know we have a very exciting alignment going on. So let's get right into it.
So yeah, we've got Jupiter in Leo. Sorry, my bad. We've got Jupiter in Leo, which is happening for the first time in 12 years. But the point is, while Jupiter's in Leo, shit is going down like a fat kid on a seesaw. We've got basically right after Jupiter enters Leo, we've got a square between Chiron in Taurus and Jupiter in Leo at 0 degrees. Then sometime after that, 15th of July, so Neptune turns retrograde on the 7th of July. Then on about the 15th of July, this activation kicks in that, I don't know, I was watching one of my favorite astrologers, Astro Vic, and he was saying that he couldn't find this alignment in the history of recorded astrology. And that is so Uranus, like when it conjuncts Mars. So imagine Mars is also in the mix. Uranus is going to sextile Neptune, and it's going to trine Pluto. Then the alignment you were talking about is Jupiter, where Jupiter opposes Pluto. And then I think there's still an alignment with Neptune and Uranus as well. And then where Jupiter is now, later on, when the sun gets to Leo, the sun is going to activate those exact points. I think it happens about a week later. So, what other astrology have I missed here? Trine, Uranus. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's a lot. So that Uranus is at the forefront right now, and basically what this all means is that the future is arriving faster than what we can integrate it. Six love.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, that's those are really big. And so uh, I've been reading. It's called Barbo's basket, and so it is kind of like this alignment of, and they're all happening at 4 degrees, 4 degrees in their respective signs, right?
Oh, and you know that my Uranus is at 4 degrees in the eighth house of Sagittarius, no less. So like expanded by Jupiter. I mean, and all of this while Pluto is conjunct my Venus at 5 degrees. So when it goes to 4 degrees and it's activated in that alignment, it's only 1 degree from my Venus.
So heavy
Which, by the
conjunction.
way, I don't know if you've come across this in a lot of people's charts, but a lot of people have got planets at like in the beginning of Aquarius. So let's say, let's even go from 3 degrees Aquarius to like 7, 8 degrees Aquarius. And so, you know, it's hit 5 already. Let me tell you, Charlie, yeah, it's I can feel it. I can feel it, and that is more of an offline conversation. Sure, I don't think the collective is ready for my Pluto retrograding on my Venus. But yeah, no, it's classic. It's classic.
So so that's talking about Pluto in Aquarius, and so Pluto is retrograding at 4 degrees, to 4 degrees, and then
Well, it went. Remember, it went retrograde on 5 degrees,
okay,
and now it's so. When it gets to 4 degrees, it's already retrograde. Yeah.
right, right,
So it
and
went
then
retrograde on my Venus.
Jupiter in Leo, in Aries, Jupiter in Leo at 4 degrees, and then Uranus 4 degrees in Gemini.
Exactly, and that for me is the main character of the show, right there.
Right, and then the fourth one is Pluto, Uranus, Neptune. No, yeah, Neptune in Aries
Nep- exactly,
at also
exactly,
4 degrees. So like
exactly.
like it's really rare to get those alignment because Neptune, Pluto, Neptune, Pluto, Neptune and Pluto and Uranus move very slowly. So those are very big collective ones. But then to then literally show up at 444, y'all, is even extra like a big deal. But it's kind of showing up all on one side as well. And so when you look at the chart, there's a face 12, 12 faces of the clock, right? 1 through 12, with Aries being the first. Everything is happening on one side, which is more of this like personal changes, right? You're getting Gemini, Aries, and then you have Aquarius. So it's kind of like on the other side of the chart. But a lot of this kind of awakening, or not awakening, but uh, spiritual energy, excess energy kind of coming through these portals, and they're happening also collectively. So what we're really experiencing is like a collective shift that is happening to everybody on top of our own charts and personal charts, where we're seeing this kind of people are calling basket. And so I think it's going to be very di difficult for a lot of us just because when the collective shifts and you are still kind of running with the collective's flow, meaning you're following mainstream, you're like, hey, everyone's doing that, I'm going to do it too. When everyone is now saying, hey, these institutions are now gone and we no longer are getting any input from them, it's like saying suddenly insurance is offline, doctors are offline. Now, how are you going to get your health care? What are you going to do for your health? Right? And so it's kind of what's really interesting is really kind of like waking up the next generation of leaders, which are going to kind of take on this mantle of having a basket to cradle the next like evolution of what civilization looks like. And on top of that, we in America just had our 250-year anniversary, which many
As
civilizations,
Pluto return.
on top of a Pluto return, which most civilization, right, they say after 200 years, you start to see the degradation of the civilization, unless it has kind of like a phoenix rising, right, a reawakening of like bringing back the old traditions of how it first started 250 years ago. So I think it's very interesting where we're at today. I feel like everyone, please pay attention. Mainstream is going to change quite a bit. I think we're getting to see now whistleblowers are coming out from all over the world for all the different industries. I think medicine will look very different in the next couple of years, 5 years or less. I think space in the conversation of either space or the oceans will change in less than 5 years. So I think in this, and I do believe that those who are
Oh, that I mean, that's Elon Musk building his data centers. Data centers. They're starting to harness the energy of the sun and kick-starting our climb up the civilization type, the advanced civilization type. Remember, we've categorized civilization into three categories, and we're basically not even a type 1 civilization, which is a civilization that uses all the energy produced by its planet, right? Elon Musk is already targeting the sun before we've even reached type 1. So I think he's ahead of the game, um, but not a bad thing to be ahead of the game.
right, and I do think that, I do think like the autistic spectrum kids and probably not adults are going to be a huge a factor in our technological advancement. I do believe that there's so much technology that is kind of has been hidden from us, has been suppressed by really many governments and institutions. And so kind of like why I feel the autism spectrum were like, fine, we're gonna go and get this information from the source. And so a lot of these kids and adults now have these special abilities and like ability to kind of access much deeper wisdom. I think it's like either, they've been in space and they understand space and interdimensional travel, that they're bringing that technology to us. And with us now kind of whistleblowing, saying, "Hey, look, the conversation of ETs is
Bringing the technology. Sorry, I'm struggling to follow.
well, because now this is now bringing all the new technology that has been hidden from us, but it's ready to come out, and that's showing up during this Aquarian age, right? But everything has been suppressed, and so I'm thinking,
And Uranus in Gemini.
right, and so what I'm saying is almost like our with the Elon Musk, he's almost kind of like redirected the energy of the directional antenna of the satellite of the planet, and suddenly now changing the channel, boom, and clicks into this basket, which looks like also an antenna in astrology, to realign really because you have Aquarius and Gemini, and so it's a different channel. It's like a very high level vibrational channel, and so those who have been listening to these higher channels are now going online and they're able to kind of access almost like source code technology, right? So I think spiritual
Okay,
technology,
okay, fine. But
space
we need to take a
technology.
step back here. Because the point is, with Jupiter in Leo, yeah, everybody's got their spiritual awakenings. The people want to be visible. They want to start going out there. There is that go, go, go energy, but there's also that when I said the future is coming faster than what it can be integrated, it's like the action is like floating yang. It's a false yang because there's not enough yin to support it. So it's not like stable action. It's almost like impulsive Mars, rather than purposeful Mars. And the point is, this alignment is the identity crisis alignment, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? This this is so everything you're talking about. It's almost like one step. That's like where it's going. But in terms of what we have to deal with now, right? Like first is the identity crisis, and Neptune is dissolving that identity. We can see the future, and people want to be visible, but at the same time, they don't feel good enough. They feel like they're too late, they're too old, they're too. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not feeling good enough yet, even though they've got that drive to be visible. So there's still, with Pluto retrograde. Pluto is the planet of transformation, death, rebirth. It's really, that is the integrating energy right there, going within and just integrating what we've already learned. I don't think now should be a time where you're learning more. I think now should be a time where you're consciously integrating what you have already learned, and letting that show in your daily choice and your daily life. And I think this is how you're going to be able to harness, the best of that energy.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm already ahead of living in the future just because.
I would expect nothing less, Charlie. I just said you rein you back.
Like, oh, present moment. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm for me, I'm pretty excited because right now we're going into the Leo energy, right? Cancer, Leo energy. Summer is always a fun time for me. I have a Leo moon, Leo rising. So Jupiter going to Leo is super exciting because it is kind of affecting both my 12th house, first house stuff. So,
So
uh,
it's forefront and center for you and self-love.
huh?
So I said, so self-love is forefront and center for you right now.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
How's that going?
Well,
Because
I have a
Leo is. Oh, I got feedback that we need to explain our planets to our non-astrology audience. We do have a non-astrology audience,
yes.
so uh, I have to explain the planet. So Jupiter in Leo. So Leo is basically it's ruled by the sun. So it's basically the core essence. I say
Leo's
when we
ruled by
speak
the
about
sun.
self-love, it's because it's love. It's like it's romance. But in this case, with these times that we're going through, you're seeing you can't love somebody else until you love yourself properly. If you know how to love yourself, then you've got love to give other people. So Leo is really where you're doing romance and creation and children and all the fun stuff, joy and fun. But it's really a great time to be harnessing self-love. So Jupiter is going to be in Leo until 27th of July 2027. It actually goes retrograde in December in Leo. So there's a reevaluation of self-love right there. over the Christmas holidays. Um, and yeah, and then it will go direct again. So the next year is definitely all about, I think we've already been on a self-love journey, a lot of us, but I think this Jupiter in Leo, therefore, is really there to solidify, and you say, can anchor in that self-love to make it stable so that you can then, receive the future and not collapse.
Well, you were talking about this integration of integrating what is changing. And so, in this collapse of, of civilizations, our identity is also changing. And so, that's kind of what you were speaking to. And so, in that moment, there's this pause moment where everybody's like, wait a minute, we don't have to follow this system. Everyone's having a pause, a oh shit moment, come to Jesus moment. Everyone's looking at their shit now, and what's happening is like the system, like system failure, error, no more inputs, no more outputs. People are not paying attention to us anymore, right? And that I think is where the identity shift is happening, when people are like, I am not an employee, I am a person living a spiritual life. And what that means to people is shifting. And so people are making different decisions. Inflation has shifted where people are now making decisions on what they have to choose to do because they don't have maybe disposable income. And so, in that sense, knowing what it is that you need is the most important conversation, right? So that Leo energy is like saying, how are you going to express how you love yourself, right? Because in that expression of self-love to yourself, to others, people know and understand how to love you back, right? By saying, oh, wow, Charlie loves it when we talk about nerdy stuff, or, then talk to Charlie about nerdy stuff, or talk to Lilith about, astrology. Like, these things is what makes us excited, and what we kind of like express, right? And so because while civilization is kind of coming apart, the only way to know what happens next is to trust in your own intuition and expression of self. Because what's happening is, in that personal care, you're taking care personally of also the spirit inside of the self, right? The I am presence also has the, where does this I am presence come from, and where does the I am presence even think that it is existing? And that's that, the spiritual energy within the soul. And so what's happening now is we're kind of realizing we're not just robots running into a machine doing work for the machine, but we're humans, experiencing spirituality. And so now, in this, like, so that's why I love this cradle, because this cradle is really like you're the fourth to, like, this, oh, basket, sorry, I keep saying cradle, but this basket of alignment that's showing you that, like, your heart is involved in this alignment. What you need to do and love yourself, and what you love to do like a child, that childlike energy is what's going to create that fourth stable input of this basket that we are talking about, that is huge, revolutionary, and changing really the tides of society. And the reason I say that, because that's really, really big, because we have been really living off of a system, top down pyramid, where the top is telling us what to do. And with this shift, everything from the bottom is coming back up. Grassroots efforts is now the top of the pyramid. And because of that, though, is you need to, all of us need to figure out what it is that we consider ourselves valuable, worthy of ourselves, and what we love to do and enjoy doing. And that's just very much this Leo energy that's coming in. And it'll be very important when information, disinformation, misinformation, real information, truth information comes out, and you just don't know how to make heads and tails of everything. Jupiter and Leo is telling you, trust yourself, take care of yourself, and that return, that Jupiter return in Christmas, y'all, we're gonna relook at Christmas and rethink about how we're gonna spend our money in Christmas time. Did you guys know this is the year? Last year, they said that we had more returns than we actually had purchases during the Christmas season. That means that people literally just do not have enough money to buy new things for each other, or they just don't want more stuff. So I don't think next year Christmas is gonna go the same way with inflation really hitting everybody this year. I think that
Uh, I love presents. I'm obsessed with them. I ain't rethinking anything.
well, what
Okay.
if Jupiter in Leo made us all make our own cars, make our own gifts, and brought back that creative childlike sense where like, I love you, you love me. Why can't I make you a gift that
We're a
is
happy
just as beautiful?
family.
Yeah. So I'll make you a beautiful gift instead of buy something. Because today, man, seriously, half the stuff we buy, let's be real, it's cheap. It's pretty damn cheap. And with 3D printers today, you can make amazing, better
Well,
toys.
I mean, I agree with you from the point of view with Chiron in Taurus. So there's a financial wounding coming up there. But the point is, what I want to get back to is everything you said about the Jupiter in Leo. The problem is the downer on the whole party, the party pooper, shall we say, is Chiron. That's just in Taurus. Because there you basically, with that alignment, Chiron is the planet of wounding. Taurus is the alignment of, you can say, finances. Whatever Jupiter touches, Jupiter expands. So you've got this expansion colliding with these, deep seated wounds. And this is why I said people want to be visible, but they don't think they're good enough. There's like some kind of wounding there. I mean, you're taking it through to Christmas. Ain't nobody got money for Christmas presents. That could also be. Start saving now, y'all.
No, get creative. I think Chiron in Taurus is kind of like reevaluating materialism. I think we are. I think we can't keep buying the shit we use. Yo, most of the shit that we used to buy for Christmas, yo, like seriously, if we were being truthful and honest during the years of revelation, we'd realize half of it is slave labor, okay? People are being paid nothing to do this labor to make us these gifts and cheap stuff.
Okay, fine. But what I do want to say, actually, is did anybody else, let's get back to this Jupiter in Leo before we carry on with those gifts, because I feel like Jupiter in Leo is really the biggest gift we've had in 12 years from the universe. So the point is
Is Jupiter
where
exalted in Leo?
not n- no, no, Jupiter's not as exalted in Leo. I can't remember where it's exalted. I could
Pisces?
be wrong, but I don't think so.
Okay. It's one of those
No,
little
so what I was saying,
astrology things.
this Ju- huh?
Go ahead, keep going, keep going.
So this Jupiter in Leo, and then coupled with that Chiron in Taurus, there's some wounds there that need to be worked through, and they may involve, a lot of people are going through what they perceive to be a lack of resources. Um, so this is going to be like Charlie said, you're going to have to get creative, and not be open to those opportunities. But really, with that Saturn and Neptune in Aries, that's where that identity crisis comes in, right? This is like uh, coupled with the Jupiter, you've got like either an ego expansion or an ego collapse. Those are the axis of energies you're dealing with. But I must say, we can, me, I'm prophet of doom. I always predict the yin side of the energies. So I'm going to go a little bit more yang. That's the good news. I'm going a little bit more yang. I have noticed a significant shift in the last week, Charlie. Specifically since the 1st of July. I mean, we had that Mars Uranus conjunction on the 3rd of July. 2nd of July was basically, I'm not going to lie to you now, as I said, this is an offline conversation, but the point is, my whole life changed on the 2nd of July. And it's all internal, right? The spiritual journey. And uh, I think a lot of people have experienced that. If I'm looking on social media and everything, what people are saying, there is all of a sudden a lot more people. It's becoming more visible that there's more people going through the Kundalini awakening. Now, we already called that a few episodes back when we when we were analyzing Uranus in Gemini and Neptune specifically in Aries, saying this is spiritual awakenings, Kundalini awakenings right there, even with Chiron entering Taurus, right? Because then it's opposing the eighth house, and the eighth house is the energy of the Kundalini. So you can see that a lot of people, I must say, are a little bit confused about the Kundalini awakening journey. But the point is, nonetheless, so I think the numbers are a little bit overstated in the collective, but nonetheless, the real number, I believe, is on the increase. So we are seeing that.
Yeah, everybody's. I have also seen. Have you seen a lot of people do spinal energetics?
Final energetics.
Yeah, it's basically Reiki specifically kind of unblocking the Kundalini channels up the spine. And so people are also actively doing these kind of practices. So, so that's not the typical Kundalini activation experiences that, you went through where it was, your natural flow and your own activation. But there are people who are actively also sitting there and doing these kind of energetic activation as well too. So,
I mean, you're either doing chakra cleansing because that's the channel of the Kundalini, the chakra pathway, or you're doing the microcosmic orbit like the Taoists do to cultivate that chi.
yeah.
The point is, you know,
What I'm
I'm
saying is
dealing
they
with.
are also people who are trained in doing it, then helping people kind of open those up, and those are like real healing modalities are showing up now everywhere. And so we are also learning how to actively kundalini clear ourselves, right? All of our chakras up. So we're naturally, even if people are not consciously aware and activated, by doing all these cleansing, they're naturally letting go of the physical limitations of physical reality, and they're able to access kind of these divine intuition, you might say. And I think that's kind of caused people to, like, acupuncture is going to blow up because people are going to go, hey, like, everything is, I'm too sensitive to be doing prescription medicine. I've run into so many people, and you're like, hey, I'm too sensitive. But like when we're doing acupuncture, like if you're also not doing your Reiki practice, you might be energetically throwing people off, and so they want us to also be energetically clean with our energy when we're putting needles in because people are so sensitive. So, even internal medicine, energetic medicine is changing the scope of everything. On top of, I mean, Gemini energy is very much Reiki energy, the invisible medicine, vibrational or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't know Gemini was that because I know Aquarius is like alternative medicine.
Vibration medicine, right? Because we're so used to physical medicine, which is what Western
Oh, I
medicine
mean,
is.
is acupuncture considered vibrational
Ye-
on that respect?
Yeah, energetics. It is energetics, but also like the metal needles. I mean, and the way they move, it's more like the Aquarius because of the electricity. So that has that Aquarian feel to it as well.
Well, look, here's the thing. So this alignment between Uranus and Neptune, it is like a gentle, it's like the universe gently waking you up. Okay, it's like a very nice, very nice. Not at all like my Kundalini awakening. Wasn't gentle at all. So so I will say that, I do see a lot of these people activating Kundalini energy or selling stuff where they activate Kundalini energy. To be honest with you, Charlie, I've come to believe it's all bullshit. Here's the following reasons why. Okay, it's not the Taoist practice. I'm saying the Taoist practice is legit. Okay, this is where you're cultivating energy, but we've spoken about it before. It's a little bit of a different. It's a little bit of a different scenario. The Kundalini, because of the nature of the energy of the Kundalini, which is like your blueprint potential, you can say it's the maximum energy potential you have So it's almost like a limitation because you wouldn't be able to expand more than that potential that is stored in the base of your spine, right? And it's really that is in source's timing. The Kundalini awakening will happen to everybody, but it's in source's timing. If you're going to be cultivating it, because like if you look at me, I didn't actually, for me, it was spontaneous, but actually, I had been doing stuff that people do to cultivate yoga for more than 10 years, which enabled the spontaneous Kundalini awakening. So people are thinking, oh, I'm going to do an hour session with this person and they'll activate my Kundalini awakening. That is the biggest load of bullshit. I'm telling you now, feel free to go and waste your money. Chiron is in Taurus. You're going to feel that pain, my friend. You're going to feel that pain wasting your money. It's not possible. You've got there are things that you need to do, and the time period, even Charlie, with Taoist practices you have to do for like more than 10 years, at least, sometimes even multiple decades before that really starts getting in. Now, will it still take 10 years right now? No, I think it can be speeded up. If you look at the average Kundalini awakenings that are happening, they are now, and mine was 7 years, they are now averaging between 4 to 7 years. Some people are claiming 2 years. I can see 2 years being a possibility because that would be obviously a person that has got 0 chakras blocked. If you've got 0 chakras blocked, maybe you can do it in 10 years. You're superhuman, but nonetheless,
At
let's
that
just
point,
say
they would
it's
already have been activated. They wouldn't be soon.
yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. The Kundalini is just waking up, yawning, and then going up to Shiva and saying, "What's up?" saying, but then I don't know. I've heard people claiming 4 months. Once again, I'm claiming bullshit. That will be the only
Unless
recorded Kundalini
unless
awakening in
unless
the
you're
history of
living unless you're living
humanity.
off grid in no modern civilization, you could have unblocked chakra, but everyone gets a chakra block because everyone's dealing with people who are hurt out there, right? So anyone who's kind of like saying anything mean to you, one of their chakras blocked, they're attacking you, and that sometimes makes you have a blocked chakras. And so that's how kind of like the whole story of Misery Loves Company. We attract experiences to us, and if we say we have a low energy in one of our chakras, we will attract a situation that will possibly either close it or open it up bigger, and that's up to you and how you react to those situations. And so I think it's very important that most people realize that living in the city with modern situations and modern manners and behaviors are very much creating chakra blocking trauma. And so when we get over all this trauma, we also have to not pass on and project more of this trauma to other people, right? And that's why this is also like the work of doing the healing, then teaches us turn around and pass love, not hate and fear, back to somebody else if you really heal from love, from fear and hate, right? And so that's like the deeper lesson too, is like we have to turn around and like be the better humans that are, not turning anybody's chakras off, right? So, like, when you think about just the idea of the whole Me Too rape culture and everything around the word rape, and that has affected a lot of people's second chakra. And so, because of that, a lot of us have a blocked sacral. So, that
The
work.
sexual trauma we have got stored from lifetimes.
Exactly, and this planet is a big one, right? And then you can look at every other one. Religion tends to be a third eye chakra closer, right? So different institutions, programming, training has done a number on our own natural systems and energetic systems. Some people say that many children are born with their chakras fully open. The problem is, as soon as they experience the trauma, you start closing off chakra systems. So this is kind of why, like, my big conspiracy is the whole like slapping kids in the butt, right, when they're born to see if they're alive. That's a first chakra trauma. You're born, the first thing you do is welcome to Earth, spank, and the baby's like, what the fuck is that? And then he starts crying. Welcome to first chakra block.
Yeah, I think they do that just to make the baby cry because it's a problem if it doesn't cry.
But you really need to see a baby cry to know it's alive or not?
Now, there's some reflexes that they test with babies when they come out. I
I
don't know the
understand.
exact
I
specifics, but the
understand.
crying is one of those reflexes where they can see if something is wrong with the child. Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying is um, we should relook and
You
rethink.
would know that that would instantly indicate something, or not instantly indicate, but certainly show the possibility of something wrong with the lungs.
All I'm
You know?
saying, all I'm saying is just there's so many other ways to do things, and us thinking that that's the only way to do things without recognizing our chakra systems, our meridian
Yes.
systems,
Yeah.
is unconscious of us. And so so that's why, like, again, this air, we are in a very exciting, you guys, exciting alignment. This air alignment here, this basket here that is amazingly aligned right now means that shit's getting stirred up to reveal to us what is ultimate truth. It's not gonna be comfortable. Many of us have had identity changes and shifts because of this. I've been in it for a while now, and let me tell you, the string just keeps unraveling, and at a certain point, you have to stop unraveling that string because you're afraid of what else comes up. Because eventually, the stuff that comes up is you facing your own shadows, your own problems, your own issues, your own limitations. And so this is part of the experiences. I think while we talk about lunacy and logic, when lunacy happens, logic is there too. So I think with civilization kind of coming apart like this, there is logic behind all this. And I think there is a divine will that is being experienced for us all to have a come to Jesus moment. Because everybody's waiting for Jesus to come back. So let's have a come to Jesus moment first together. Um, but that's why,
I feel like it's imminent. It's imminent.
eh,
Certainly the mother Tollier, the mother arc principle. This is like the ultimate divine feminine has entered the planet. This is what I was trying to discuss with you the shift, and it happened when Jupiter entered Leo. Now, I'm not sure actually, if I must be completely fair, Jupiter entering Leo, what that has to do with it. It might be that expansion of self-love. Um, but the mother principle, in case you all don't know, as we go through this procession of the equinoxes and we go from Pisces to Aquarius and the lower half of the chart to the top half of the chart, so the underworld, yin energy to yang energy, from darkness into light, you can see those previous 12,500 years was essentially ruled by darkness, or you could say the absence of that mother principle. I'm not going to get too much into the madness here as to what happened to the mother principle and where she was stuck, which dimensions, the fragmentations, and all of that. Those of you who know what I'm talking about, you surely know what the deal is. But she is back, y'all, after 12,500 years. And I'm telling you, I could feel that shift when Jupiter entered Leo. It was it was a shift, and it was I would say, I almost, you know what I felt like it was, Charlie? You know, we've been waiting for like the light to tip, right? And actually, I think we've thought up until now that the light has tipped. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you now, the light tipped beginning of July. This is what I feel. This is when the light tipped. I don't see it necessarily in astrology. I don't see it. I can just feel it, and I can feel it in the collective. I do know about the mother principle that's now already on the planet. So I am aware of that. It wasn't beginning, she didn't come beginning of July, but this is like, the energy slowly going through. So that is super exciting. This is 12,500 years where the light, you can say, is now ruling. So my hopes are really high. I'm not going to lie.
why do you think
Mama
I'm
is
always
back, yo. Mama
why do
is
you
back.
think I'm always
Huh?
so hopeful, y'all? Like, It's tough, yes, but like when you're doing that perspective change, you realize that like no, we're on the winning team, y'all. It's just really tough just because
The
um
winning timeline.
yeah, yeah, the Mother Divine it's almost kind of like I've been waiting for her on the phone call. A couple of times she's like picked up and told me stuff, but like, it's been a while since I really felt the mother energy. And we went camping this weekend, and I really felt like anywhere in nature I was at, there is not a helicopter mother energy, but like a very like endearing mother energy looking at us kind of playing in the playground of her like nature, right? We basically just had an inaugural camping experience at this 100-acre land that we've been kind of developing and we're kind of working with. And we found out that the pond was available for us to swim in, and there was no problems on the like little pond lake. So man, it felt like we were kids there, but it felt like the softness of nature starting to come up. Like, y'all, Texas is like the Australia outback of
So you
like,
notice the shift, Charlier? You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, yeah, I really felt like nature
There was a
herself.
lightness. Things felt lighter, which
Yeah,
is crazy because Neptune and Saturn is still in Aries. It's still that heavy energy that's on our physical bodies and our identities.
it's the subtle
So
energy.
I'm excited that you felt it too.
Yeah, I felt like the subtle energy was more conscious now. So like
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
It
so
filtered through to the
as
conscious.
Asians,
Yeah.
as Asians, a lot of times we're wrongfully accused of being passive because we choose to listen often rather than speak. Versus in the West, speak so people know your opinion. But oftentimes, um, we learn that in our own kind of practices, subtle energy and just taking action at that one moment that you see there is an opportunity for action, that we take action. And so we've always been, as the Asian tradition, we've always been paying attention to subtle energy. Reiki, pranic healing comes from Asia, but like Qi comes from Egypt too. So many ancient tradition understood this Qi energy. And so I find that I've been always not not chasing it. I- It's just I've always been like just like short of cultivating chi, just like that raw form of chi. And so in nature, I always find it's easier. But I did this meridian movement in nature, which is basically cultivating chi and movement. And then I put my hand together, and boy, the amount of like subtle energy I felt in my hand was like 100 times. I was like, it's been a while since I've done this, or it hasn't been that long ago. I only did this like 2, 3 months ago. But I was like, wah, wah, wah. And I was like, is it nature? Is it me? What's going on? But the whole weekend, because I was there from Thursday to Sunday, so like 4 days out in nature. And like at first it was really uncomfortable because yo, no air conditioning in Texas, right? So for 4 days, no air conditioning. Um, some people had to go into their car to turn on the air conditioning. But for some reason, after 4 days, I did not have the crazy sweats. It's almost like my body was starting to regulate, and almost like the subtlety of nature was really good. Hold on, someone's at the door. Hello. Hi. Uh, no, no bueno. Un poquito. Yeah.
Is
It's
Uranus in
acupuncture
Gemini,
or medicine
communications getting
or
interrupted. This has never happened before, but it's happening
yeah,
now with Uranus in
80
Gemini. So
cuánto yo
enjoy the show, folks.
cuánto yo $80 per treatment 80 cuánto
I mean, what we were talking about early on with the Kundalini awakening, I was saying I've heard of people with 4 months. 4 months is humanly impossible because the point is integration, processing, and then embodying is a product of time. Uh, so I don't know if you're going to come say your Kundalini journey took 4 months. Um, that's not even enough time for all of that information to settle into your physical body, to integrate it and then to actually fully embody it. It's easy to, receive the downloads and have the information at your disposal, but theoretically. But I mean, if you if you don't if you don't embody the information, then there's actually no transformation that's taken place. Kundalini is about integrating and processing that information so that you can embody it, so that you live it. I mean, this is the whole point. The spiritual journey is there to be lived, not just experienced from a theoretical perspective. And the Kundalini is a biological process. So this means your cells are changing, your DNA is changing. There's a physical process that's happening. Charlie, I was just explaining to people that you have never had somebody at the door, but welcome to Uranus in Gemini, where communications will be interrupted. No, so I mean, I just carried on telling about the Kundalini, but you can carry on with what you were saying. I think I'm pretty much said what I wanted to say.
Remind me, what was I getting into?
Oh no, I've already veered off into the Kundalini.
It was so it's funny because
Yeah, I've got so much information coming into my head. I'm surprised I
it
can follow
was
a
it was
single
someone
part.
who couldn't speak English, who was speaking Spanish, right? And so that was also very difficult for me to translate. And so I was going through a very Gemini moment, Uranus and Gemini moment.
Yeah.
But I was also listening to you at the same time, so it was like many conversations happening. Very Uranus and Gemini.
Yeah, very. So I'm enjoying Uranus and Gemini. I am, there's glitches in the matrix happening with with that coupled with Pluto in Aquarius. I mean, this for me is prime glitch in the matrix energy. you know. I've got lots of sacred medicine today. Today we've got lots of sacred medicine to get through.
Okay, cool. So,
You
yeah,
don't have to do it now if you were still talking, but just saying, we do have lots of sacred medicine to get through,
yeah,
just
yeah.
because these alignments are so potent.
Yeah, no, I definitely think we can kind of go into it just because, this alignment and everything's been going on has only just picked up. I think it's gonna get even more potent by the end of summer. Another one, I gotta go. Yes, yes. Hola. Oh, hi. Hola. Nice to meet
See
you.
what
Yeah.
sacred medicines I have here.
Uh, yeah.
Um, yeah. This is where the future is coming in faster than what we can integrate it, because
Yeah.
integration is the name of the game. This is
Thank
what I
you.
said early on.
Yeah, yeah.
Now is not
So
the
we can do
time to
like
be
massage and
learning something
acupuncture,
new
but I could do
or
massage,
all of
right?
that. Things need to settle first a little bit.
Yeah.
Integrate, process. So, when we said this is a false action, it's action that's unsupported by yin energy, which is stillness. So there's not enough. So the collective has got all this
Yeah,
drive for
so I can help
movement,
with the
but there's
next
not
little
enough
bit.
stillness to really hear,
Yeah.
their essential perspectives, allowing those essential perspectives and
Okay.
viewpoints to
Staying all
arise
day,
that are authentic for your
uh,
expression.
standing all day.
So really, this, and that's why people are experiencing emotional overwhelm, intellectual overstimulation, spiritual exhaustion, all of this, right? But this month is really asking us, like, can you expand without having to prove yourself? So this is what we were going back to about people not feeling good enough. Uh, your existence, your worth, your self-worth is not dependent
Okay.
on your
Yeah, yeah.
contribution or
Yeah.
your productivity or your usefulness to society. Your self-worth is inherent and is there because you exist. This is it. So this Jupiter in Leo with the self-love, there's an expansion energy there,
Okay. Yeah.
but it's really asking, can you do it without having to prove yourself? You
Our
shouldn't have to prove yourself.
todos
You shouldn't have to
semana
do all those things
10
to feel worthwhile. Just the fact that you
tres.
exist should already allow you to expand.
Yeah.
Where to expand to, this is where the
Sí,
stillness comes in,
la-
to really hear
this
that
week.
guidance. But let's get into the
Okay.
sacred
Sí,
medicine.
Juancito, porque,
Um,
bueno,
so
let me see. This
obviously,
week, what
you
day?
know, this whole time, this sacred medicine, I don't know if we should wait for Charlie here.
Friday, Friday. Friday.
I guess I can
Um,
get a head
uh,
start so long.
Saturday.
Um,
See, Friday is Venus.
but I mean, okay. I'm just going to repeat it though when he comes back.
Okay. Okay.
But Jupiter in Leo is really about
Okay. You're welcome. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome.
returning to the heart.
Take care.
So this is the point.
Bye.
You know, you want things to be able to align. So when you return to the heart, what we really trying to, oh yeah, comes Charlie, you're back. I'm busy on sacred medicine already because you're just disappearing. So we're dealing with Jupiter in Leo and the fact that it's a return to the heart. So I just want to, so I'm actually still on the first medicine, but I'm going to start with, you know, practices that really develop that inner coherence, because what we're trying to do with this Jupiter in Leo is really develop a stable vessel. Okay. So how do you develop this inner coherence? It's really when that heart and that mind agree. You know, the heart and the mind agree, thought and action agree, values and behavior agrees, spirit and body agrees. There's this inner coherence that is needed in order to develop this the stable vessel. Um, and when those kinds of things are aligned, then you're going to find you're going to have that Mars energy turns purposeful rather than impulsive. The Jupiter energy turns generous rather than performative. You know, the Neptunian energy becomes inspiring rather than confusing, and that Uranus energy becomes awakening rather than destabilizing or disrupting. So it's all about coherence. Um, so if we start off, so I just wanted to give the theme of these sacred medicines. It's developing that coherence. If we start off with like Mars and Uranus, this is really impulsiveness. So it's really about breathing before acting or before saying anything, but not suppressing it. So yeah, I don't know if you have any experience in that, Charlie, or how you can explain to take a step before you act. And it doesn't say don't act. It says don't suppress your action, but certainly being authentic and in line with your heart. Authentically in line with your heart is what it's about.
Yeah, yeah. It's trying to teach you how to take action with that impulse. How often to in the West and in general in this young energy, we sometimes take action on the first impulse, not waiting until you fully allow the impulse to happen, and then to kind of wash over you to kind of like go, okay, I think now I should, take a breath, maybe 3 breaths, and then know for sure that impulse was for you to then take action onto it, rather than as soon as you see the impulse, you go and you go for it, and sometimes you might trip because you're not really paying attention to the whole situation, and so you might miss where you're going. So oftentimes, it's kind of like it's like a child. A child will often react to their impulse. I want that, and they won't think about anything else around them. They will not. They'll miss that there's a dog coming, there's a car coming. They're just gonna go straight into what they really really want, and oftentimes they miss something, they get hurt. And so what we're trying to say is that's Aries like. Aries tends to be an early Aries, a young Aries tends to be very tunnel focused. Versus when Leo, it's kind of like an evolved version of a fire sign Aries, where they know what their impulse is telling them. I really like that. But then they're kind of like taking a deep breath and enjoying kind of like the situation going, I also like that in the setting that I'm in, so I'm going to walk over to it and enjoy the whole time I'm looking at what it is that I desire. And so it's almost like the journey is the path, is the excitement of getting what you want versus Aries can be too quick at taking action. Leo's trying to teach you that, like, take a breath and enjoy that now you're going towards that desire, but you don't necessarily, um, have to like be the first one to get it. Because Aries is always wants to be the first one to touch it, first one to get it, first one to be there.
On Uranus, I mean, this is things that are emotions going to be coming at you very quickly, right? So it's like you said, it's slowing down, going into that stillness, and then noticing the feeling instead of like reacting on every feeling. Slow down, notice the feeling, name it, and then allow it. And this is how you cultivate that witnessing mind. And cultivating the witnessing mind right now is incredibly important while Neptune and Saturn is in Aries so that you can build that stable vessel.
Yeah, I imagine like a Matrix moment where bullets are flying, whizzing by, and then you're like trying to react to all of them, right? But you take the deep breath, and suddenly everything slows down, and now you can see all the moving bullets, and you can kind of like dodge. Dodge not as fast, but dodge slower because you know where all the bullets are coming. And so you take that deep breath, and as soon as you know where you want to go, you kind of take that out breath, and then like boom, all the bullets go really fast. So in a way, when you take that breath in to before you take action in that kind of like trigger and impulse, you realize that almost like that moment of ecstasy can get prolonged when you take a deep breath to experience what's happening before you take the step to take action. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Well, and then the next one is, of course, always a winner, is the microcosmic orbit. And in this case, it's going to be Charlie who can describe the microcosmic orbit now. But in terms of what it's doing, this microcosmic orbit is particularly good for circulating the energy instead of accumulating the energy, and which is also very, very good for mental overstimulation right now. So always a winner, microcosmic orbit is the best. Do you want to tell people about the microcosmic orbit
Yeah, the
for
microcosmic
those that don't know?
orbit is so if you it's very much matched up to the meridian channels. We have a meridian channel in the spine that goes from the coccyx all the way up the spine, all the way up our head, down our face here, kind of into the mouth. So that's called the governing channel, do channel. And so the macrocosmic orbit says that you are imagining energy going up this do channel, which is going up the spine, coming up the head, coming down into your tongue. And then you put your tongue at the roof of your mouth and it connects it to the ren channel. And the ren channel, governing channel, is coming down here to the bottom of your body, to the belly button, into what we call the dantian or the fire. So solar plexus is also the sun energy in the body, and so you're basically harnessing fire energy in your belly. So Buddha's belly, that's why we do belly breath because a lot of energy is being stored in the belly. And then when you want to take action, that's why we do in Tai Chi Qigong practices where you're like breathing in and then breathing out, you're exerting energy out. So the more you practice this breathing in, cultivating energy, breathing out, expending energy. So when you are doing Reiki, Tai Chi, or any kind of movement, you're expending energy outward. So the macrocosmic orbit allows you to cultivate energy from the breath and from consciousness to kind of cultivate this energy into the belly.
And don't forget that the tongue must be on the tip of the tongue must be on the palate behind the two front teeth, or that microcosmic orbit is not an orbit, it's broken.
Yes. Where the dew and
Um,
the ren channel connect is the tongue and the roof of the tongue, the roof of the mouth.
And then, as we said early on, there's basically the diagnosis here is that there's too much movement and not enough stillness. So another sacred medicine is bringing in more stillness. I would highly recommend. I don't think anybody is going to listen to this piece of advice, but it's got to be done. Time away from your social media or all of that. You have to find time to be more still. It's just an imperative right now with all these energies. They are volatile, they are chaotic, and you need a stable vessel as you move through those So use it, don't use it, and face the consequences.
Yes, that's so important, everybody.
And then, of course, how you integrate by cultivating the yin is obviously with the grounding exercises. So this is going for walks out in the park. This is cooking. This is drinking water, doing some yoga. Doing some form of movement and breath work is also good for that.
I'll say also, the Leo energy is they love to dance and be on stage and play and
Exactly.
movement, and that's super important because in medical astrology I do a lot of rising sign element and medical stuff, and so like fire element is all about movement, and so because in a lot of movement you start sweating, and when you start sweating is when you start purging toxins. Aries will love to hit the gym and hit those weights and like push hard. Leos, they want to hear music and
I
dance.
don't know about that with Saturn and Neptune in Aries right now. I think I've done like one or two weight training workouts this entire year so far, bro. Struggling. Shit's
Yeah,
heavy. It's
because of
heavy. I
Neptune.
feel lighter since the mother arc is back, since Jupiter entered Leo. I feel lighter. But I'm just saying, I don't know if Aries is ready for the full blown warrior phased
Yeah,
champion.
with Neptune, it's probably hard. But this is kind of like that difference where like Leo needs that extra motivation, that dancing motivation, that that like wants to play and be in action, right? So that if you know that like you're training for like a movie scene where you're gonna have to look buff, then you want to go train for that because you have this bigger thing. And so that has this Leo energy where you kind of need purpose of why you're getting buff. So don't say I'm getting caught for the summer. If you say I'm gonna go and act and be the buff character, a superhero character in a movie, boom, there's way more motivation that way, right? So give yourself really like a theme motivation to do anything during the summer, just because Leo, it's all about your best self. So like dress up, look good, because when you look good, you have a good time, life is good. So Leo is all about happy-go-lucky will attract that happy-go-lucky life. It's the in Harry Potter that potion, that lucky potion you're drinking is very Leo energy. And I say that because people are always jealous that like all I do is walk around, smile, and everything works out for me. And people are like, all Charlie does is smile and everything works out for him. And I go, that's not your problem. I love doing that, and so I'm not gonna like be mad about it. But that's Leo. Like just be happy and just trust the universe.
Well, I have a similar problem. So a friend was helping me because I'm busy updating my website, and a friend was busy helping me, and he's like super tech savvy, right? He's got big tech businesses and stuff like that, and he's busy with my website, and all of a sudden I'm in the mix, and so he had to submit like a ticket to get help with helping me with his website because everything just went haywire. as soon as I came into the picture. So technological issues follow me even before Uranus was in Gemini and Mercury went retrograde. So yeah, just saying. It went up a notch or two. I think that's all the main sacred medicine. I mean, this month has a lot of excitement, and since we're trying to cultivate a stable vessel, I would say one question when in that moment of pause, when you pause, before reacting or before acting, ask yourself: Are you just excited about what's happening, or are you rooted? Because with Chiron in Taurus, you want to be sure that you're rooted. Otherwise, you're just going to float and eventually that balloon's going to pop and you're going to fall. So I would say, just check in with yourself and make sure that you're doing some grounding in all this chaotic energy that we've got. And yeah, that's it from my side, Charlie.
And my last kind of tidbit for Jupiter and Leo is, um, go to a drum circle, go play music. We do a lot of drum circles here in Houston. For me, when I play the ukulele, I can tell the difference between my heart playing music and my head playing music. And so every time I'm overwhelmed mentally, to get into my heart space, I go hit the ukulele. I play a couple of strums, a couple of chords, and I will find that if I'm singing from my heart, the music is in tune. If I start thinking from my head, I start going off key. I start being off my strum, and that's because I'm trying to be too much in my mental space. So, I'm battling Virgo Leo here, right? The Virgo trying to be mental, while Leo trying to be in the heart space. And oftentimes, and especially Virgo being of service, so it doesn't know whether it's what it wants to do or what somebody needs them to do. And so when I play music and then I think about what I need to do, I tend to be much better at what I need versus when I've been running around doing stuff and then someone needs something and I automatically say, "Oh, I can help you with that." And that's not really what are my needs. It's what people's needs are because as a Virgo, I naturally want to be in my head to help someone fix something. So that's one way that I get out of my head and get into my heart space, my Leo space. So hope that helps, y'all.
Which as a Leo rising, you're a pro.
Exactly. And sweating. Do not be afraid to sweat, y'all. Sweating is not a bad thing. Sweating is a superpower because you release toxins and you are cleaner than everybody. So detox by sweating. So
As
go
long as you
out.
take a shower after the sweat.
Yeah, obviously. Yes, don't stink up the place because you're sweaty, but don't be afraid of sweat. I think so many people are so afraid of sweat, and it's like, no, dude. Sweating is not a problem. Only if you stink because of so many toxins.
Well, I mean, it serves a purpose, right? I had a friend that when we were younger, when we used to go to clubs and the clubs would be like so hot, you'd like have sweat pouring. And he actually had a sweating problem, right? So he would go to clubs and sweat would just pour down, and he was embarrassing because he couldn't like score with like that. So what he decided to do is he went for Botox, and because Botox can actually stop sweating, right? And he had Botox injections, and he went to a club, and because he didn't have the sweat cooling him down, he said he literally thought he was going to die of heat, like he couldn't escape it. So yeah, so sweating is critical. Your ability to sweat is there for a reason. Don't be botoxing shit closed. I mean, I'm all for Botox, don't get me wrong, but not to stop the sweat.
Yeah, so um as we're ending
I,
our
I
episode.
I clear the chi in my I clear the chi in my face, so I can get the Botox. Your Botox blocks the chi. So if you get Botox, you need to be making sure you're getting some acupuncture or whatever you can get to make sure that chi is flowing where you've put the Botox. Otherwise, it ain't gonna work long term.
Yeah. Or
But
just
that wasn't supposed to be under sacred. I wasn't supposed to put
eat
Botox under
healthy.
sacred medicine.
Eat healthy, love yourself, love your body, keep it sweaty, and I hope you have
Exactly.
an amazing time. So thank you all for joining us. Until next time.
Till next
Bye.
time, namaste, y'all.